So just because you're seeing Kajabi all over your social media feeds and it's popping up in ads everywhere, that doesn't mean that the universe is telling you that you need to go get Kajabi and build your business. Now, I know it can feel that way, right? You see it everywhere, everyone's talking about it, and you think, oh, this must be a sign. If you don't understand what Kajabi really is and who it's for, you could be wasting a lot of time and money every single month, especially if you're only wanting to just do one thing in your business right now. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly when Kajabi is not the right platform for you to use and what you should probably use instead. And I'm going to actually share when it makes sense to invest in Kajabi. All right, let's get into it. First, let's talk about when Kajabi is not the right fit for what you're trying to build. Okay, Kajabi is not cheap. The basic plan, it starts at $149 a month. And if you are only doing one thing in your business, there are definitely better platforms out there that do one thing really well for a lot less money. Here's some situations where Kajabi probably is not the best choice for you. If you're selling physical products, you might want to look at places like Shopify, right? Because Shopify is built specifically for e-commerce and physical product sales. If you're doing one-on-one coaching with scheduling, you could probably use something like Calendly plus an invoicing platform like Stripe. You don't really need Kajabi, even though it does offer a one-to-one coaching product. If you're selling simple digital downloads like PDFs or templates, things like that, you could use places like Gumroad or Standstore. These platforms, they're designed specifically for selling digital products. If you're building a community and you're not planning to add any courses, you might want to look at places like Circle or Mighty Networks, right? Now, I know that they do have a kind of course piece to it in those platforms, but they're not super robust. They're really focused on the community first. If you're only doing live workshops or webinars, you could probably just use something simple like Zoom with ConvertKit or any email marketing platform, or even like a webinar platform like Easy Webinar or Demio, right? Kajabi does have the ability to go live inside their platform, but it's not great for like large recurring webinars, right? Especially if you're trying to use it as a lead magnet, it's just not the best for that. Now, if you're selling basic online courses, things like Teachable and Thinkific, they might actually be a better fit for you because they're simpler, they're way more affordable, and they just do that one thing pretty well. Now, these are just like suggestions. I'm not saying that these are the only platforms you should use. You should definitely do your own research and figure out what works best for your business. But the point that I am making is that if you are only doing one of these things, Kajabi is probably overkill, right? And it's going to cost you more money than you actually need to spend. Now let's talk about why forcing Kajabi when it's not the right fit can lead to frustration and wasted money. So here's what actually happens. So you come to Kajabi because you've seen it everywhere. You sign up, you start building, and then you realize that you're only using a fraction of what Kajabi offers. You're paying $149 a month or maybe even more, and you're only using it to host a few digital downloads, or you're only using it for a basic course with no plans to expand to more. Now you're feeling a bit stuck. You're paying for features that you're not using. You're overwhelmed by all the options, and you're frustrated because it feels more complicated than it needs to be. We see this all the time, and that's because Kajabi is not designed to do one thing exceptionally well. It's designed to do multiple things very well. Platforms like Shopify or Teachable, they all do one thing exceptionally well because all of their resources are focused on that one thing. Kajabi spreads its resources across multiple features like courses and memberships and email marketing and communities and podcasts and even the branded app. They have a full team working on that. So it does all of those things really well, but it's not going to be the absolute best at one single one of those things. And so if you're only doing one thing, you don't need all of that. You need a platform that's laser focused on what you're trying to do and to achieve. So if you are forcing Kajabi when it's really not the right fit, you're going to waste your money, you're going to waste your time, and you are going to feel frustrated. So the question is then, when does Kajabi make sense? When should you use Kajabi? Clearly, when you want to do multiple things in your business, or when you want to scale to a full product suite. If you're thinking, I want to start with a course, but I know very soon I'm going to grow that into a membership. Maybe I'm going to have a community attached to that, and I want to run my email marketing campaigns through it. I'm going to build some funnels. I already got them all planned out, and there's very likely going to be a podcast coming, or I know I'm going to need the branded app. Then Kajabi makes sense. You already have this plan, or maybe it's working for you already in another platform, because you're not just going to pay for one thing in Kajabi. You're going to pay for everything all in one. It lets you do all of these things together without having to piece together a variety of different tech platforms. And now this is why it matters. When you are using multiple platforms, you're creating a disaster of a tech stack that can cost you way more money and time than Kajabi ever would. You're paying for a course platform, an email platform, a funnel builder, a community platform, a payment processor, and probably Zapier to connect all of these things together. And of course, when one thing breaks, the whole system tends to fall apart, and it always breaks right at the most inopportune time. So if you already have all these multiple courses, a community, email marketing, and all of these other things, and they're spread across all these different platforms, then consolidating them and putting them all together into Kajabi is definitely something that you should consider doing. You're going to save a lot of money on subscription costs, and you're going to save a lot of time troubleshooting those problems. And you'll have everything in one place where it all works together just like seamlessly. We help people migrate to Kajabi all the time. And the relief that people feel when everything is finally in one system is absolutely huge, right? With Kajabi, it's all in one place. It's all integrated. And when you're ready to scale, you don't have to migrate from platform to platform. You just continue to build within the same one that you're familiar with and comfortable with. So if you're planning to grow your business, you want to offer multiple products, if you want to build a full ecosystem around your content, then Kajabi is definitely the right place. And if you have multiple products scattered across different platforms, then it's definitely time to consolidate into Kajabi. But if you're only doing one thing and you have no plans to expand, at least in the next year or two, then save your money, use a platform that's built specifically for what you're doing. And then you can come to Kajabi when you're ready to scale, because, we'll be here. If you want to check out Kajabi for yourself, you can use our free trial link in the description below, and you can go in and just take a look around. Now, even if Kajabi is the right fit for you, a lot of people struggle with it. And it's not because Kajabi is hard to use. It's typically because of how they set it up. In the next video, I'm going to talk to you about why you might struggle in Kajabi and what you need to do to avoid having to rebuild your Kajabi site later down the road. Go check that out.